All right, folks. Today marks the 14th day of the government shutdown, and the Senate did not hold a vote today, as it is a federal holiday. Is Indigenous People Day, or what others call Columbus Day. You know, the guy who actually got lost and so-called founded the country. More than 4,000 federal employees have recently received layoff notices due to the ongoing political standoff. Approximately 700 staff members who were mistakenly fired from the CDC on Friday have been reinstated, according to the American Federation of Government Employees. Let me deal with that with my panel. Dr. Omékongo Dibinga, Senior Professorial Lecturer, School of International Service, American University, author of Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racism out of D.C., Reita Shannon, full Majority State Representative, as well as Eugene Craig, CEO, X Factor Media, Inc., out of Baltimore. It shows you, Renita, the sheer stupidity of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy, that you would fire all of these specialists on Friday, and here we are Monday, you have to reinstate them. These are the Keystone cops. These are true idiots. And the fact that these people are in control of the government is pretty shameful.
Right. And it's not the first time, because we saw that when the Trump administration first came into office, they had Doge going on where Elon Musk was running around firing lots of federal workers. And what was not loudly reported, as loud as the firings, what was not loudly reported was the fact that a lot of those workers that Elon Musk fired without any rhyme or reason or even knowing what they were doing had to be rehired. So this is a constant pattern with the Trump administration of them not having any sort of critical thinking or any sort of plan around what they do, and they just jump into action. And that's not the way that government works. This is, it's just more of the same. And unfortunately, it's a lot more expensive for the country to get back these folks when you have let folks go. And, people, not everybody is just going to say, hey, I'll just come right back to work. So this has just been more of the same of just a chaotic administration.
Not only that, Eugene, it's just totally disruptive to an individual and their family. I mean, all of a sudden, you get notice, hey, you're fired on Friday. Over the weekend, you deal with that. It's like, oh, sorry, my bad. Come back on Monday.
I mean, it sounds like to me that the literal intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence as well. The thing is this, right? What everybody has to understand is that they are literally doing what they told you they were going to do. For years, they said, hey, we want to scale down the federal bureaucracy. And now they have the opportunity to do it. They tried to force it with Doge. And now they say, because we have this government shutdown, we're just going to eventually just start firing people and use the shutdown as a reason to do it. But because it's what they've always wanted to do. And now they have the window of opportunity.
Congo?
Yeah, I mean, going to Renita's point, the people they fired the first time around are people who worked for the nuclear, handling the nuclear, energy, and they had to bring them back. And when they tried to bring them back, they couldn't find them because they didn't have their personal email addresses, and they shut off the access to their own emails, their work emails. So they had to struggle to find them. And I'm going to assume that this is probably happening right now as well. And I think to the last point, it's important that people do get reminded of the fact that this was Roosevelt's planned all of the time. Feels like there's too many Democrats who work in the government. Feels like the government's too big. And one of the things that I appreciated was that some of the people who have been laid off, because some folks are not coming back, right? Some people who have been laid off have said, Democrats, we still want you to keep it up. We still want you to keep the fight going because we know that you're fighting for this country. And for a group that has been so control of the messaging, talking about the Republican Party, this is a message that they're losing. You see with the airport delays and things, people don't want to play the videos in the airports of Kristi Noem. And so Democrats have to keep pushing this, but the people who are being laid off, even the ones who are being invited back, they also have to keep pushing this because this is a narrative that Democrats with their singular messaging have been able to start controlling. And Mike Johnson and John Thune and all of these guys, they look like fools out there. Everybody knows that this is about covering up for Epstein, and everybody knows this is about a shutdown that they want to use to continue to implement what they already told us they were going to do, as has been said.
You got 1.4 million federal employees that have been furloughed without pay. To that particular point there, Renita, when you look at what's going on here, Republicans having to own this. And of course, they're trying all they can to say, oh, it's Jeffries, it's Jeffries, it's Jeffrey, it's Schumer. But we know what's going on here. They do not want to roll back these health care cuts. And Democrats are saying we're going to remain steadfast. In fact, you guys, if y'all had that video that Congressman Hakeem Jeffries put out on social, let's roll that video that speaks directly to this issue. I mean, related to this point, what you're saying is you're seeing Democrats really hone on the health care issue, and that appears to be an argument that is gaining traction with voters.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that Democrats are holding the line, because that is not usually what happens. Usually what happens is Democrats will say, hey, we got to be the bigger people in the room and we have to figure out some type of compromise. And I heard this so many times in the legislature where Democrats would say, hey, well, we'll go ahead and vote for the thing that's not the worst thing that the Republicans came out with first. And so it became almost a game where Republicans knew they could come out with the worst bill and the Democrats would reject it. And then they would come with something in the middle, which was still terrible and harmful to the general public. And then the Democrats would say, oh, okay, we got to vote for this because the most harmful thing is not what they are pushing since they have the majority. But Democrats are not doing that this time. And I'm so glad, because it looks like in this instance, Democrats are waking up and realizing that when you decide to vote for a bill, whether you feel like that bill is perfect or not, you're going along with what the language that's in the bill. And Democrats are standing strong now, saying, no, we are not going to budge on reducing access to health care for our constituents or anybody else. This is one of the singular most important issues on both sides of the aisle. People know that they need access to health care. And any bill that would make the premiums higher for healthcare, people are already complaining about how much healthcare costs. It's already a struggle, especially for people who are small business owners. It's a struggle for everybody. And so I am really glad that Democrats are holding the line. And I don't care how long the government has to stay closed. Democrats cannot vote for something that is going to make sure to take away access from folks.
Again, you have to hammer the point home, Eugene. And I think that's what they're doing. And clearly, it's having an impact on Republicans. And let's also be clear, Eugene, Mike Johnson does not want to deal with the Jeffrey Epstein issue.
He doesn't want to deal with the Epstein issue. It's the reason they aren't seating the member that was newly elected in Arizona. Because one more time, her vote would be, her sign on to the discharge position would be the last vote needed to actually force a vote on it. But you got to keep in mind, one more time, this shutdown has given them, in their eyes, the Republicans' eyes, the opportunity to do a lot of things they wanted to do when it comes to Obamacare subsidies. They wanted to gut Obamacare from the day it was passed. And what the public has to understand is this, right? If these subsidies go away, a big swath of middle class America, folks that make a little bit too much from Medicaid, but make just a little too little to actually be able to afford private health insurance, are going to see their health care insurance, prices double, triple, maybe even quadruple. People forget what it was like pre-Obamacare when health insurance companies could come in and limit what services you got, or didn't cover pre-existing conditions, or didn't were forced to cover this now in the healthcare bill of rights. So the fight that the Democrats are fighting is a good fight, and the public needs to stand strong behind them. And the thing is this: Mike Johnson knows he's fighting a losing fight. He knows that the second that the government opens it back up, or he brings the House back into session, that this Epstein issue will move forward, and that just puts the light back on him and Donald Trump and others that have ran around with with Jeffrey Epstein, for the amount of time that they did. And I also had to give a shout out to Senate Dems, because at the end of the day, right, even if Johnson brought the House back, some majority rules in the House, but it's the Senate rules and Senate Democrats that are holding steadfast to those rules that is holding Team Trump accountable right now in his budget?
Look, it's the thing that we have to consistently look at Omékongo, and I'm gonna tell you right now. So you're Republicans who are like, "Oh, Obama, Affordable Care Act, it's too expensive. Premiums have gone up. It's not affordable." Okay, where's your plan? Because you don't have one. Donald Trump promised one for 4 years, never, ever, ever came up with one. I mean, you even got nutcase Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene saying we don't have a health care plan.
Yeah, what do they say? Concepts of a plan, like you said in the debate. I mean, and even going back to his first administration, like we're talking 10 years overall here. They have no plan, have no alternatives, and they think that they can just keep throwing out terms like, "Oh, their policies are socialist, their policies are radical." This, make sure they throw out every trigger word that they've been using over the years, and eventually it runs out. Eventually, people realize that all you have is talk and bluster, but no plan. They have no plan for anything. And people who talked about Donald Trump won because he ran on the economy and what he was going to do for the economy and healthcare. The man ran on tariffs, and he ran on cutting taxes for the rich. Those were his economic plans. And so for people, hopefully, are finally waking up to realize that. Maybe those who weren't involved in voting, maybe those Republicans and independent voters who thought he was going to be their savior. If y'all don't realize that these guys were all about nothing, I mean, where's the healthcare plan in Project 2025? They got a damn 1,000-page document, and where's the health plan? And so these people have been frauds as it relates to this from the beginning, and they're finally being called out on it. And Mike Johnson can talk about call people Antifa this and call people socialist this and anti-American that, but people know a fraud when they see it. And Mike Johnson and the entire Republican Party, starting from Trump down, is finally being realized by others, because we already knew that, the emperor has no clothes and they have no plan. And if y'all thought what was happening with Obamacare was going to be expensive, look what's about to be happening over these next few weeks. And it's going to be game over for Republicans, hopefully.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.